On this installment of Did I Wear Pajama Pants for Recording? The answer is no.
I didn't know that was a game that we were playing now.
Oh, it's not gonna be. I'm gonna drop it now, and then one day, when you least expect it.
You're gonna drop your pants?
That's not where I was going with this. But that is a good idea. By which I mean it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I think it's a terrible idea for both of us. Welcome to Under the Bridge, everybody.
Yeah. I'm Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll.
And I am Greg, aka Greg.
Very good. Ordinarily, I'd start with the gaming news. We're not going to do that this time.
Oh, no.
No, that's not happening.
Okay.
We'll get to it later on. So we're going to start with film stuff.
Alrighty.
I definitely have to go watch Pearl my weekend, as it turns out, because they're getting a sequel.
Remind me what that one's about?
That's the prequel to X.
Okay. Wait.
Yeah, it's the one about the farm girl who goes crazy.
How does a prequel get a sequel?
Well, the original film is getting a sequel.
Okay.
About the main girl of the first movie, who is played by the same actress who plays the old lady killer who is the star of the first movie, the prequel movie, after the rampage.
Okay.
And it's called Maxine with 3 X's.
That's concerning.
I mean, you remember what I said about X and how it was some people go to shoot a porno and it turns into a horror movie, right?
Yeah, no, I remember that.
Yeah.
It still sounds very concerning.
Probably will be. I really liked X. I just didn't get a chance to see Pearl this weekend, so I'm gonna do that probably tomorrow night? I don't know. We'll find out. Tomorrow night as a recording. Definitely seeing it, though. There was a promo release, but there's barely anything to it, so I didn't add it to trailer time.
Ah, fair enough.
But I thought it was worth noting. Speaking of surprising sequels, did you ever think we'd see Keanu Reeves as John Constantine again?
Not really, actually.
Well, we're gonna!
Oh! Well, that's cool.
Yeah, of all things, Warner Brothers is making a sequel to the 2005 Constantine movie. With the original director to boot.
This is a strange decision.
Right? Of all the things!
I know it means saying that, it's like, people at Warner Brothers are like, have you been paying attention for the last, 2-3 months? That is our whole MO now. It's just, this is a strange decision, Warner Brothers logo appears.
You're right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really weird because I'm not gonna say it was a bad movie, but it was a bad Constantine movie. It just was not a great... And it's so baffling because we've had more faithful Constantine since, in the form of Matt Ryan, who played him in the Arrowverse, and Joanna Constantine in the Sandman Netflix series.
I'm pretty sure I've seen the movie, but it's probably been at least a decade since I've seen it, so don't remember too much of it. But would you say that it's a movie that is deserving of a sequel?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Especially not 17 years after the fact.
Fair. I wasn't sure if it'd be one of those things where it's like, ultimately, even for how apparently meh it is, there's there's still something left on the table, maybe.
Honestly, I think it's just because Keanu Reeves is on an upswing and Warner Brothers is like, hey, we can use this.
Oh, 100%, yeah. I mean, it's been on an upswing for several years now, so...
You could just cast him as something else, but...
Yeah, that would make too much sense, and that would be too easy.
Oh, and then it gets weirder because it's being produced by Weed Road Pictures and Bad Robot, which is J.J. Abrams' production company. And per Variety, it sounds like the Constantine and Madam X series that Bad Robot was working on for HBO Max are both dead, and they're working on this instead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's just... weird.
See, this is one of those weird things, because I enjoy seeing Keanu Reeves and stuff, so I'm always up for more Keanu Reeves content, but this is still one of those things where I still can't help but go, Warner Brothers, what the hell is going on inside of you right now?
Yeah, what is your game plan here?
Yeah, what's your end game?
Of all the things on my bingo card, never in my life would I have put sequel to Constantine. That's right up there with, I don't know, let me check here. That is right up there with Sora for Smash. Never happened. Until it is.
I was saying, we saw how that went.
Yeah, I'm bad at bingo. I told you how my endgame predictions worked out, right?
I think you did, but I don't remember.
I didn't get a single one. I did not get a single endgame death prediction correctly.
I remember that for Infinity War, you guessed a couple things. Like, half of them were right, the other half were wrong, but the wrong were replaced more for ones that you did not see coming at all.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. Like, I think I remember you saying that you didn't expect him to actually kill T'Challa.
No, I did not expect that. I mean, I knew he was going to come back, but...
Yeah.
I didn't think they'd do it even temporary. Anyways. We're not going to get into endgame. Point is, did not see this coming. I guess we'll see how it goes. Get me a trailer, ?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
So it didn't take long after D23 for Disney to already start moving stuff.
Wasn't it literally 2 days?
Something like that.
Yeah, which is a little silly.
Haunted Mansion has been delayed from March 10th, 2023 to August 11th. So that's a little confusing why they even bothered to give it that date in the first place.
Right.
We also know that the untitled Marvel movie that was coming out February of 2024 has been moved to September instead.
Oh dear.
Yeah, don't know what that's about. If anything, that means movie-wise, 2024 is going to be a little sparse starting out MCU-wise. Because no February movie would mean the next one is, I think, in May?
Oh, okay, so yeah, that would be a pretty decent gap.
Yeah, even Doctor Strange didn't do that.
Yeah.
I think. No, Doctor Strange did that. Never mind, I'm wrong. So it'll be 2022 all over again. Only we'll have Daredevil to keep us company.
Hey, hell yeah.
Yeah. We also got official dates for a few other projects, most of which, in fact, I think all of which we briefly talked about last week. Was it last week? Good God. How time flies.
Oh, yes.
But anyways, during the D23 episode anyways. And the dates we have are Elio is coming out March 1st, 2024. Snow White is coming out March 22nd, 2024. Inside Out 2 opening June 14th, 2024. And Mufasa the Lion King is coming out July 5th, 2024.
Those last two are still ones that I have to remind myself are actually happening.
It doesn't quite feel real, does it?
No, especially, honestly, Inside Out is the one that I have more of a hard time with, just because it's like, as great as the movie is, I never thought it's like, yeah, this needs a sequel.
Yeah.
The Lion King sequel is just straight money grab. Like, there's no bones about that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
No elephant graveyard bones about it.
Yeah.
And then, in one final and honestly kind of sad bit, Star Wars Rogue Squadron has been removed from the release calendar.
And that is definitely the one that makes me the most sad.
Now, they might come back to it. They might put it back on at a later point. Doesn't mean it's necessarily canceled. But it doesn't look necessarily great.
No, I hope it's not canceled. I mean, granted, I'm a sucker for, like, aviation movies, but it's one of those things where, as far as I'm aware, the only real significant representation that the fighter squadrons have gotten outside of, like, the battles in the movies are just the video games, or as in this case of them being a central focus point. It would be nice to have that in movie form. So,
yeah.
When that was announced, I was like, ooh, I was very much looking forward to that. I hope it's still happening too, but the fact that they just took it off the schedule, date, anything is one of those things where it's like, that's not a good thing to see.
Yeah, Star Wars, since Disney got them, has had a really bad habit, it seems, of, we're making all this stuff, now we're not.
Yeah, I don't think this is happening, but I have seen a lot of people who are saying they're afraid that Disney is going to use Star Wars more so to just make more content for Disney Plus and keep it at that. I don't think that's going to happen, but I can definitely understand how people are jumping to that conclusion given recent events.
And it's so nutty because it's still, even the worst Star Wars movies make money.
Yeah,
Except Solo, but I mean, that wasn't Solo's fault. Solo's one of the better ones, I thought.
I thought it was one of the good ones, I guess. But I do think it was just one of the ones that has a harder draw to a general audience.
Plus, they put it in May between Infinity War and... Or was it Endgame? No, it was Infinity War, I think. I think they put it between Infinity War and Deadpool 2. Are you crazy?
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, if that's your release date, then you're just kind of dooming yourself.
For the story of how Han Solo got his lucky dice.
And how he met Chewie.
Yeah, that too. But nobody is gonna see that over Infinity War and Deadpool 2. Just a baffling decision. And they gave it almost no marketing either.
Yeah.
Could have actually been something.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like that's one of those things where it's like, that would again be too easy and make too much sense, unfortunately.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm sick of being sad about Star Wars stuff and how we're not getting another movie until December 2025. And we don't even know what it is. Let's go make fun of Sony. It's been a minute.
Oh boy, our favorite pastime.
Yeah, it's been a minute since we got to make fun of Sony. I've shifted to Warner Brothers quite a bit because they're busy setting themselves on actual fire. But Sony's making another Karate Kid movie.
Really now?
Yeah. Nothing to do with Cobra Kai, apparently.
Okay.
And it's coming out June 7th, 2024.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Plus, Garfield has shifted to May 24th, 2024. And, oh, yes, the thing we're all very concerned about, the Spider-Man spin-offs.
Oh boy.
Yes, Kraven the Hunter will no longer be coming out in January. We are now going to have to wait until October 6th, 2023 to see that one.
Okay. And
then Madam Web will be coming out February 16th, 2024.
Okay.
I don't believe these are ever coming out.
I was curious. It's like, well, at least they see it to have a plan here. It's like, I don't believe these are actually happening. It's like, okay, you know what? That's a fair conclusion to come to.
I don't think these are real movies. I think these are just more Tropic Thunder sketches. That's what I think.
Fair enough. I kind of have a thing to add to Sony as well.
Oh boy.
Because we've had a couple new castings for, like, honestly kind of a thing that I feel ashamed to constantly be keeping up with, the Gran Turismo movie. Because it was announced that Orlando Bloom is going to be cast in the movie in some form of undisclosed role, which was definitely the one that made me go, okay. And earlier today, it was apparently announced that Darren Barnett is going to be in the Gran Turismo movie as the main antagonist.
Huh.
And
why does a Gran Turismo movie have an antagonist?
I imagine he's going to play the kid who, like, shows up as, like, Forza's better.
Like, what does he want to do? Take his race winnings and use it to build a parking lot over an orphanage? What's the plan here?
I don't know. Apparently,
that's deranged.
Apparently, and it took me a minute, because it was one of those things where when I saw it, I recognized his photo, but I don't remember him in anything. But he was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He played a younger version of Malik.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, I guess.
Gideon?
No, Wilfred Malik.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's neat, as the antagonist. Like, why?
Why does this movie have one of those?
Keep in mind, Gran Turismo as a series is basically, the entire MO of Gran Turismo is collect cars and race the cars you collect. It is literally sports car Pokemon. That is, so, for this to have an antagonist is just one of those things, it's like, okay, I know it's like, yeah, this is just weird. I hope they don't pull a Ford versus Ferrari, because as much as I love that movie, my biggest problem with it was that they made an antagonist for the movie, and the antagonist is actually someone who for all I've read about him, he was known for being kind of a dick, but definitely not to the level that is portrayed in the movie. Like, not to the level of almost sabotaging his own company's racing results.
Ha!
Yeah, that was kind of one of those things where it's like, this actually... I see what they're doing, because it's one of those things where arguably you have to have an antagonist, but not to this extreme. So, I will say, it is one of those things where, as much as I hate to admit it, that has definitely made me more curious about how this movie's going to go.
This has made me the opposite. This has made me just angry. Antagonist of the Gran Turismo movie.
Yes.
Is he playing Dick Dastardly?
Like I said, he's gonna play like the kid in like 5th grade with the main character who just like pushes him to the side. It's like, Forza's better, get on Xbox, nerd, and then runs away. And it's like 20 years later, it's like, oh, it's him trying to be a race car driver. Just based on the castings that have been announced, this movie is just getting more zany and zany by the fortnight.
Ha. 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 It's all downhill from here. Got him. We'll get to that later.
I was going to say foreshadowing.
But as much as I love making fun of Sony, Warner Brothers is not out of the woods just yet.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Have you heard of The People's Joker?
No.
It was being advertised as an illegal coming-of-age comic book movie.
In a league... What? I'm sorry.
It's a parody.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a parody.
I was going to say, can you run that by me? An illegal coming-of-age. All right.
Yeah, it was being advertised as an illegal comic book movie. And then DC shut it down.
Aw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole shtick, I guess, was it's Joker as a stand-up trans comedian called Joker the Harlequin, and it actively used a bunch of Batman stuff in it. And obviously, I haven't seen it because it got pulled from TIFF. So, I have no idea whether it was actually making a point with these characters or not.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those things where I am all for increased trans representation and whatnot in movies, but just based on that blurb, it's like, okay, is this one of those things where they're doing this for a reason, or is it a just because? Because if it's a just because, it's already, like, kind of eh.
Well, see, that's the interesting thing. Especially because I really don't want to support any big corporation in terms of IP ownership or what have you, because that's gross. Because parody is supposed to be protected.
Yes.
But it does really beg the question, when is it a parody, and when does a parody just become a really weird take on pre-existing material? And I don't know what the answer is. I guess we'll find out, because the story is apparently still developing.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I don't really know how to answer that either.
Because it's like, I know a parody when I see it for the most part, I think. But every so often, there's that thing where all I can do... I thought Grease was a parody, and or satire. And apparently it wasn't, and that just broke my goddamn mind. And I hate that movie.
I've seen that as well in regards to Grease, because I have watched it a couple of times, and it's like, okay, it's not... I don't see how this isn't a parody. Like, I believe them that it's not, but I don't get it either.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you how it's not a parody, because everything about it feels parodic.
Yeah.
Parodic? Everything feels like a joke. Like, isn't the 50s weird and zany and gross? And yet, apparently you're supposed to take it completely at face value.
Fair enough.
Can't do it, won't do it. That's what I have to say. So I guess we'll see how this goes. This is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what more... I hope, like, it is kind of one of those things where I'm definitely not sold on that general premise, but I'd be interested to see more of it as it develops. Hopefully it's not something that just gets thrown into trash right away.
Oh, I'm sure eventually you can find it somewhere. Eventually.
Eventually.
So I think, rather than skip to trailer time, now might be a good time to do the gaming news.
Yes, and oh boy, was there a lot of it, because the Tokyo Game Show was this past weekend.
Yeah, and I barely paid attention to it.
That's fair.
I've been busy.
I know there are a couple interesting things. I know that Tekken 8 was announced on the Tokyo Game Show. That's really the only thing I kind of paid attention to, in all honesty.
I'm not going to talk at length about this one because I haven't seen any of the footage because I'm not a rude person, but did you hear about the GTA 6 leak?
I have. I read about it, and I actually saw a tiny bit of what was leaked, and Rockstar actually put out a statement earlier today basically confirming this, like, no, this was legit. Apparently someone hacked into their Slack accounts and just, like, downloaded a bunch of information about the game.
Oh my.
So that's how all of that happened. Yeah, like, literally, their Slack got broken into.
So nobody was cutting them any slack?
Shut the fuck up, Steve.
No. It's my podcast, and I'll die if I want to.
No, but yeah, I saw it. I saw it. I read about it. I did see a little bit of, like, some of, like, the screenshots and whatnot, and my takeaway was like, yeah, that's definitely Grand Theft Auto. I didn't really have many thoughts beyond that, in all honesty. It's just that it's interesting how what is, as far as I can tell, one of the most anticipated games currently got leaked what seems like relatively easily.
I think the thing about this that gets me the most is, like I said, I haven't seen any of the footage or anything, but there seems to be a lot of gamers complaining that it doesn't look good, and it's like, yeah, it's leaked! It's almost like you weren't supposed to fucking see it!
Yeah.
Because it's not ready to show off yet. You think games just spring fully formed from the thigh of Zeus, ready to go?
Yeah,
fucking
like...
idiots.
No, from the bits I was able to see, it's like, this game is, like, obviously in pre-alpha. Like...
And you might be thinking to yourself, Cody, isn't that a double standard considering how much you shit on Sonic Frontiers? And, you know, I'd be inclined to say you might have a point, except I'm making fun of what Sega actively decides to show us.
Yeah, no, that was because that's the big takeaway. This was, like, none of this was supposed to see the light of day. And it's pretty damn obvious if you just see what's shown. It's like, yeah, of course it's going to look bad. It's still stuff that's being worked on. These are things that are being passed around by the various developers at Rockstar to see, hey, does this work? Does this work? Is this good? This is still very much the corporate projects portion of this game. So of course it looks like shit.
Yeah.
So, it is one of those, I do find that interesting, because I did see a little bit of that of people who responded negatively to that. It's like, for how much gaming has been intertwined into modern society, and especially how easy it is to find information, I felt like at this point, things like beta versions and alpha and pre-alpha versions of games was at least a little bit more well-known, because this game's definitely not coming out for at least a couple years, probably.
Oh yeah, if that.
Yeah. So, I was surprised to see that, because it's like, you guys didn't know that this is how games are made? Like...
Apparently not.
What can you do?
Make fun of nerds who don't know how things work.
Fair enough.
That's what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So the main thing I paid attention to this week was the Nintendo Direct.
Of course.
Y'all like farming simulators?
I did hear that there's a lot of, like, farming or farming adjacent things for this Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, here's just a sampling.
Mm-hmm.
Remake of Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life called Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life, coming summer 2023.
Mm-hmm.
A new farm and flora sim called Fae Farm, spring 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Special edition of Rune Factory 3, 2023.
Okay.
A new Rune Factory series is in development.
Okay.
And then they also had a bunch of JRPG stuff as well. For example, a third installment of Atelier Ryza, which is coming out February 24th, 2023. Fire Emblem Engage, starring Todoroki from My Hero Academia for some reason.
This is a new Fire Emblem game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Marth's coming back.
And
It's coming out January 1st, 2023, so Happy New Year to us. Have you seen The Protagonist?
No. I know that people have been talking about it, but I've never been able to, really, nail it down.
Hold on a moment. Let me get a picture for you.
Okay.
Just take a look at this Todoroki-ass looking motherfucker.
He looks like he came out of Kill la Kill.
Bro, do look like an anthropomorphic personification of a toothpaste commercial.
That is some funky... Oh, and his eyes are different color, too.
Yeah, he's got heterochromia.
Okay, that's...
Because he needs to be more special.
This is a bit extreme. It's definitely stylish, but I'm not going to say it looks good.
Yeah. Also, Octopath Traveler 2 is coming out February 24th, 2023.
God, they are stacking February, aren't they?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Tell you what's not coming out February. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, because that's coming out December 13th.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to that, because I'm going to get that for the Xbox.
Early 2023, we're getting Tales of Symphonia remastered. So, yeah, a lot of JRPGs, a lot of farming sims. But there's also some other stuff. Some weird stuff.
Oh, weird stuff's fun.
You ever want a Fist of the North Star boxer-size game?
I don't know. Wait, what's a boxer-size game?
Boxing exercise.
Huh. It sounds cool.
Because we're getting Fitness Boxing Fist of the North Star, March 2023.
Okay, sure. Why not?
Nutty. Absolutely insane. We're getting another Fatal Frame.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, early 2023. A lot of 2023s, I like it.
Yeah, as I say, there's a lot of stuff coming out between, February and midsummer of next year. That's a lot of stuff.
Oh, Front Mission 1 and 2 are getting remade for the Nintendo Switch. So that's not something I would have expected. Really, what is at this point from the Switch? At this point, it's all just the crazy stuff.
Wasn't there also something about a Suikoden remake coming? Is that coming on Switch as well?
Suikoden.
I think.
Nope, not as far as I know. At least it wasn't part of the Direct.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of something else then. I know that there was one other announcement that was made for a remaster that no one was expecting, and it was for a particularly expensive game.
We even got a few blasts from the past, in that Kirby Return to Dreamland is getting a deluxe upgrade for the Nintendo Switch.
Return to Dreamland.
That's the one for the Wii.
I was going to say, isn't that a Wii game?
Yeah. That's usually, what is it, like 60?
Yeah, I think that's like a $60, $70 game.
Well, maybe it'll come down a bit now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like whenever there's remasters of especially sought-after games, it is one of two things. Either it just goes down hard,
or it goes up because people want the original more now.
Yeah, or because maybe the remaster doesn't live up to expectations, so people want the original even more because of that.
Yeah. And to go even further back, we're getting N64 games added to the eShop.
Oh, such as?
Pilot Wing 64? The first 3 Mario parties?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually pretty sick.
And we're also getting the first 2 Pokemon stadiums.
Ooh. I'm not saying ooh because of that. I'm saying ooh because I know, how much Stadium 2 is, sought after.
Yeah.
That's one I'm going to be very curious to see, how the market changes with that.
Oh, sorry, I should have specified. They're coming to Nintendo Switch Online, not just the eShop.
So, is that the thing where... Is it, kind of like the rental thing, kind of like what Sony does for PlayStation?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
It's still gross, but it does make more sense.
It's basically you pay for the online service, you get a bunch of free games. Granted, Nintendo's online is so bad that you shouldn't be paying for it anyway, but... Hey, free games.
Hey, free games, yeah.
Oh, also 1080 snowboarding and Excite Bike.
Huh. I feel like those are two where it's just kind of like, okay, we need something to balance out the first party stuff. These games.
Oh, you want something to balance out the first party. Have you heard of a little number called GoldenEye 64?
Oh, is that coming too?
Yes!
Okay, well, I remember hearing that it's coming to Game Pass as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's going to be available on Game Pass. I don't remember when. They were saying, it's like, yeah, the game's going to be coming to Game Pass soon. It was like, really? So that'll be interesting. That is actually something I'm looking forward to, since GoldenEye is often credited as the game that more or less laid the foundation for modern first-person shooters. So I'm very much looking forward to it, to seeing all the things that it's like, oh, this is so much better now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bayonetta 3 is coming out October 28th.
I thought the release date for that was already announced.
No, we had no idea when that was coming.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of thought they forgot about it. Plus, we also got a release date and a new title for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel, and it's called The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Can I just say that it did actually really bother me how, for the longest time, because from what I remember, like, things about the game that were shown, but it was just known as the sequel to Breath of the Wild. It's like, give it a name!
Call it something!
Yeah, for real. I did see a joke that somebody made online. I don't know if it was a joke or, like, just genuine naivety, or being naive, or someone said, do you think they delayed the announcement of the name because of the Queen of England passing away? And it was just
that might be why it didn't stream in the UK.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense, honestly. I mean, I'm just glad it has a name, because it was one of those. It's like just a relatively minor thing. I fully admit I'm probably like nitpicking a bit, but it did just bother the absolute crap out of me.
Yeah, it's nice to have a name for it, just so it's like, it's not just, oh, Breath of the Wild 2?
Yeah.
But anyways. Enough about that. Let's get to the real big thing of this Nintendo Direct. You know it, you love it, you've all been waiting for it. Pikmin 4 is confirmed! Holy shit!
I just want to mention real quick, you peaked so much you cut out on my end when you got excited for that.
Nice. I am still excited. Prepare for it to happen again. Oh my god, I thought this game was dead!
Wasn't this game, like, in development hell?
Yeah, it was supposed to be close to completion in September 2015.
Oh, no.
And then Miyamoto said it was progressing in 2017. And then we just kind of stopped hearing about it.
That is very much one where that's one of those deals where it's like, I would love to be on, like, a fly in the wall in that, like, in those offices for all those years.
Oh. And not only is it coming out, it's coming out next year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 2023. It's happening. It's real. I have to beat Pikmin 3 now because I've just been dicking around on the final boss.
It's like, damn it, I actually have to finish the game now.
I hate it. But I love it. I can't wait to see what new Pikmin types they come up with, and what weird, goofy-ass treasures you gotta look for, and what terrifying existential nightmare creatures you have to avoid getting eaten by.
I did actually just look it up, and I did not realize that Pikmin 3 released in 2013, so it is actually a 10-year gap.
Yeah.
Jesus.
The biggest thing we got between them was Pikmin 3 for the Switch.
Because why the hell not?
Because it's not like it was doing the Wii U any favors.
Fair enough.
Oh, I'm so happy, Greg. I'm just so glad to have that game confirmed and announced, and it's, You know what this means? There's still hope for Prime 4.
I can think of several people who would like nothing more than for that to happen.
So all in all, good Direct just for that. Everything else, yeah, that's cool, that's fine, yeah, that's whatever. GoldenEye, yeah, sure, okay. Pokemon Stadium games, okay, you got it, Chief. Pikmin 4, that's news.
That's news. That's the stuff, hostess.
Absolutely. Shall we trailer time?
We shall trailer time.
Very good. What do you want to start with?
I mean,
There's only two, so I guess,
Yeah, I mean, there's two, and...
Hold on, I'm gonna flip a tube of wood glue.
Okay.
Tails, I guess we're going with Bromates.
I'm questioning why you have a wood glue with you.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's fabric glue.
That doesn't answer the question?
You won't get one.
So, I will say, when I watched this trailer, when the title card dropped it from executive producer Snoop Dogg, I did actually say out loud, fucking excuse me?
Ah.
And it's like, what? And as it progresses, like, oh yeah, this has Snoop Dogg written all over it. It is just, this is zany enough to be Snoop Dogg.
It's funny because the trailer had me in the first part, and then steadily started losing me as things got more out of control.
I mean, the trailer kind of lost me from the get-go, I'm gonna be completely honest. Especially, like, during the bit where it's like, yeah, she broke up with me over a stupid misunderstanding. And it just cuts to a woman being held up and being tickled by a little Ray Howery with a feather. And he just turns to his girl just, like, with the biggest, dumbest smile on my face. He starts going, "Hey, baby, you're home early." Like, and the thing is, it's not even as far as I can tell, it's not even the whole, like, I got caught. The man is being completely genuine.
Yeah.
And it's a thing of, like, what the hell? I want to know more about this series of events. I don't care about the rest of the movie.
I did like the bit with the other guy where his girlfriend tells him it's mostly an emotional affair. But what about all the sex? Oh, that's happening.
Yeah, and it's very physical and sweaty.
That made me laugh.
Yeah. This movie doesn't exactly grab me, but it did get a few laughs out of me, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'll agree to that. Also, what's that? Who is singing I Want to Dance with Somebody?
Ah, crap. It just came out of my brain and now it's gone.
Was that Kevin Hart in that movie?
No, I don't think so.
God, I'm bad with actors.
I hope Kevin Hart isn't in I Want to Dance with Somebody.
No, I mean in Bromates.
Oh no, that's Little Ray Howery.
Okay.
He was the guy in Get Out who's like, I am in the TSA. We handle things, and I motherfucking handled it. That's that guy. I actually really do like him. I do think he's pretty funny.
Well, now I feel bad for getting him mixed up with Kevin Hart. My deepest apologies.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, man. Also, that part made me laugh a little bit more just because I had just finished watching the trailer for I Want to Dance with Somebody, and I was like, wait a minute. Am I in the right movie?
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see how that one goes when it comes out. I think in November.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'm not, like, completely, like, off-put by it, but this is definitely kind of a weird romantic comedy stoner movie. Like, no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah. And then there's I Want to Dance with Somebody.
I feel like this is a movie that I would take my mom to.
Accurate.
And I mean that in the most complimentary way possible, because it is one of those things where it does look like it's quality. It's unfortunately a thing that doesn't do anything for me, but I'm pretty sure my mom was a pretty big Whitney Houston fan during her career. So this is very much kind of the thing of, like, I would take my mother to see this movie, and I think she would have a very good time with it.
Oh, Whitney Houston's great. The main thing that's going to determine whether I see it is how long it is, because that did stop me from seeing Elvis.
Yeah, considering how much there is of Whitney Houston, because the woman was very much an icon, I have a hard time seeing this being a short movie. Like,
but
I would...
you also run into the thing of, there's not an obvious reason for the movie. Like, there doesn't seem to be a central conflict, at least not that's readily apparent from this trailer. I'm not saying they all need it, but that does seem to be the prevailing phenomenon with these kind of musician biopics. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like at the end when the guy says, I'll think about it, but it needs a hook, and she says, oh, I'll give it a hook. And all I can think is, yeah, the movie could use a hook.
Yeah.
Because it seems like the hook right now is just, do you like Whitney Houston music? Which I do, but I don't need to go see a movie for that.
Yeah, it is. It does kind of seem like it's... The trailer gave the impression of it's banking on the whole thing of, this movie's about Whitney Houston. That's all you need. What other reason would you want to have to see this movie?
Guys, wait, come back.
Guys, wait, come back. Whitney Houston. I'm not, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to give shade on Whitney Houston, God rest her soul, but it really is like just a feeling that was given from this trailer.
But it does have Stanley Tucci in it.
It does have Stanley Tucci in it.
I do like the Tooch.
That sounds wrong somehow.
Yeah, it was supposed to. You're welcome. Free ammunition. Have fun.
Oh boy.
The Tooch is Looch? That doesn't work.
Should we move on to the box office?
You know what? That's probably a good idea. Good thinking, Greg. This might end up being a shorter episode after all.
Oh boy.
So at the top of this weekend's box office was The Woman King, which took in $19 million.
Okay.
And I did want to go see that one and might still, but it was a case of it's over 2 hours long and,
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. So it was a case of it's over 2 hours long and the only time I can make it is 10 p.m. and that's...
Yeah, that's not happening.
That's not happening. 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Oh, damn.
It had a $50 million budget, so we'll see if it can keep some momentum going and make more money, because it sounds like it's great.
Yeah, it seems like it's been getting, like, solid reviews so far.
Agreed.
And it's basically within the a general time period where it's like, alright, this is kind of where my, like, interest in world history, like, really starts to take off, because I think it's, like, taking place in, like, mid to late 19th century West Africa. So it's like, alright, that got my attention, so hopefully it's able to keep it going.
Yeah, definitely an interesting premise, and I like Viola Davis. I just needed actual time to go see it.
Yeah.
Second place, Barbarian, with a $6.3 million domestic weekend, which shows you how everything else is doing. For a $20.9 million domestic total and $21.9 million worldwide. Against its $10.5 million budget, that means it should actually be making some money at this point.
Yeah, it's making a little bit of money at least.
And hey, this is only second weekend, so even if it keeps dropping, it'll still make a little bit more, hopefully.
Yeah.
Third place, Pearl, which took in $3.12 million in total, against a $1 million budget, so sounds like it's already making some money. Fourth place, See How They Run, with a $3.1 million domestic weekend in total and $7.6 million worldwide. Unfortunately, I can't find the budget for this one, but since it's got Sam Rockwell in it, it's probably more expensive than that.
More than likely, yeah.
And then in fifth place, you already know what it is.
Is it still Maverick?
It's actually Bullet Train.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, what the actual hell?
I got him. I had him going.
I was gonna say, it's like, I know I've, like, kind of done it in a semi-jokingly way, but it's like, if this movie is still in the top 5 after this much time, it is actually ridiculous.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've done it. I've bamboozled Greg.
To be fair, that's not really that hard to do.
It made $2.5 million domestically this weekend, Bullet Train, that is, for a $96.3 million domestic total and $222 million worldwide.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely glad that that's still making money, because that movie was a good time.
Yeah. All in all, pretty weak box office this weekend, but especially when you consider that highest place was $19 million and second place was $6.3.
Yeah, that's a big drop.
And it sounds like we backed the wrong audience horse by seeing See How They Run.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Oh, I just always find it interesting to see, did we see the number one movie this weekend?
Fair.
And the answer is not this time.
Not this time.
But I still had a good time.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Because it's time to talk about See How They Run. Starring Sam Rockwell and Cyrese Roman.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to, like, start with the basic premise of it or not.
Yeah, might as well. It's a whodunit where a guy doing a movie adaptation of a whodunit gets moited, and Sam Rockwell is in charge of the investigation. And Cyrese Roman is his assistant, I guess you could... I mean, she's still a constable.
Yeah.
As they never let you forget.
Mm-hmm.
But... she's basically the Watson.
Yeah, I looked it up later on after seeing the movie, because I realized that they just constantly refer to her as Constable Stalker. And it's like, okay, she actually has to have a name in the movie, right? And it's like, no, she is just Constable Stalker throughout the entire movie. And Sam Rockwell is just known as Inspector Stoppard. And it's
Commissioner, Constable.
That
Inspector,
was actually...
Inspector, Commissioner, Inspector,
Yeah.
Constable.
Yeah, that was definitely like a thing where it's like, oh, this is the Tenant thing all over again.
But yeah, no, this was fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because they, right at the start of the movie, they make a comment of, you seen one whodunit, you seen them all. And then this one proceeds to not really differentiate itself all that much.
I mean, yeah, in all honesty, because it is a thing of, as fun as this movie was, and it's very enjoyable, honestly, the fun that I have with it is what makes me go, it's definitely worth seeing. It doesn't rock the boat by any means.
Nah.
It's one of those things where it's very straight-laced, but it is also aware that it's straight-laced, and it does try, and I think succeeds in having a good time with it.
Oh, it definitely has a good time. It's just one of those things, and this is the classic me overthinking a movie after I've seen it. It doesn't do itself a lot of favors by inviting comparisons to Christie stuff, and B, sort of winking at the audience about, oh yeah, another mystery whodunit, isn't that cute? And then proceeding to just be another mystery whodunit, isn't that cute?
Well, I mean, the one thing I will definitely give credit for in the movie, and maybe this might be a thing that I just wasn't paying attention to, I did enjoy kind of the twist with it, and I very much enjoyed the reasoning behind the twist, because it was one of those things when we go, it's like, yeah, I can reason with this. I don't reason with the methods, but I can 100% reason with the motive.
Fair.
So,
and it's kind of hard to talk about that part without getting into spoilers, so I will not rebuttal it here.
Mm-hmm.
But, I don't know. It's just one of those things where you realize the movie has been hand-holding the whole time instead of actually setting up for a subversion to no real substance, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a hoot. It's a real hoot. It's a funny movie.
It's a funny movie. It's a very, like, off-the-wall movie.
Cyrese Roman is adorable.
She is adorable, and she kills it. And she kills it in a great way, because...
I keep saying Roman, and it's Ronan. God, I'm bad.
Autofill by the brain or something. One of the things I enjoyed with her, and they do it for, what's the Inspector's actor's name? Why am I blanking on that right
Sam
now?
Rockwell.
Thank you. They do it with Sam Rockwell's character as well, where you are given reason to, like, have certain ideas about them from the get-go. But even though it's, like, nothing, like, really crazy, they do kind of give you, like, reasons later on to be like, oh, okay, no, there's a method behind these people's madness, and these are, like, actual humans. They aren't just caricatures. And
right.
And that was something where I very much enjoyed, because I feel like with a lot of whodunits, especially more comedic ones, the people are there more so to just fill the mold that's required of them at the point, and very little left to be like, okay, no, there's an actual human here. So that's fair. That part I thought was very fun.
Yeah. Plus, the movie, honestly, the stupidest shit got me laughing really hard. Like, just the bit of this doesn't count as a spoiler or anything. This is somewhere he's staying in London. Starts flipping through the book furiously.
I did enjoy...
oh, I did get that information. I just didn't think you'd want it. That's all I could think.
That was something that I can reason with that. I can level with that very hard. And it was also the thing that made me, like, just fall in love with her character. It's just like, I feel this. I feel this so hard. But this is one of those things where it's both kind of a neat quirk and oddly adorable at the same time.
Plus, I think it also helps that they kept a lot of the focus on the two main investigators.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other characters and members of the cast weren't necessarily the most well-developed, but they don't feel like they need to be.
No. Everyone else was very much in the spot of, okay, we need you to be this type of thing.
And it's mostly being carried by Rockwell's, I'm too old for this and I want to be done with this, Inspector.
Mm-hmm.
And Ronan's, I really want to catch this person so people will take me seriously and also because it's the right thing to do. But, boy howdy, it's hard to catch a murderer.
Yeah, it is.
Think we're good to move into spoilers?
I think so.
Alright. Definitely worth seeing, I'd say, 100%. It is not the greatest whodunit, it's certainly not Knives Out, but...
Oh yeah, that's a high bar, though.
And it's not Murder on the Orient Express. But, still good. Still good.
Very good, yes.
So if you don't want to get spoiled, make sure to click away, because we're going to talk spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. They dead-ass telegraph the ending for us.
They kind of did it in the Escape Room 2 way, where it's like, it's like, alright, they're making it obvious. There's no way they're actually going to stick with it. And it's like, and they stick with it. It reminded me of the first time you showed me season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh, and I accidentally spoiled that Ward was Hydra?
Yeah, and it's like, no, you don't have to worry about that. And then it was like, it was right all along? What?
Good times.
Yeah, they do telegraph the ending, and that was kind of one of those deals where it was a bit... it's like, I thought it was funny, but I also still thought it was a little silly.
You know the worst thing? They even telegraphed the ending at the very start when Copernic said, and it's always the least likely character. And that kind of really bugs me about this movie, and it's part of what I mean when I say that the movie spends too much time winking to do anything of real substance. Because I was 100% in when I thought it was secretly Rockwell who had done it.
Yeah, I don't know. When they were kind of going that route, it was a thing of like, I can see how these are reached, but it was one of those things where I see it, but I also don't see it at the same time, if that makes sense.
I was just curious with, okay, if that is the case, how did he set all this up? How did he go about it?
Yeah.
Because that would be actually surprising, and I don't know how many... I don't think there's that many whodunits I've seen where the detective investigating the case is the one whodunit.
One of the things with that, actually, to kind of circle around to, like, Saoirse Ronan's, like, character in it during that whole bit, is that I realized after that, and also after sleeping on the movie, that it seems like her role is supposed to be, like, how an audience member views these movies, especially in the bits where she like sees him in the wrong place at the wrong time and has, honestly, in my opinion, like reason to believe it's like, all right, yeah, this makes too much sense for it to not be it.
Have I been mispronouncing this name wrong the whole time? Hold on. One sec. It's Saoirse. Are you fucking kidding me?
So.
Wow, I'm a fucking idiot!
So I've actually heard the name both ways, because I went to high school with a girl named Saoirse. So, but I've also heard people call the name Saoirse as well with no correction. So it's like, okay, I don't know which one it is.
Well, apparently it was Saoirse this whole time. Fuck me! Whatever, now I know for the future. I can't believe I got this poor actress's name wrong twice.
Well, now we know.
And knowing is half the battle. G.I.
Joe. But no, it was very much a thing of like, okay, so I can see where that's going. And honestly, I thought that part was definitely very fun, because it is, especially when she runs up to, I forget what the woman was, but she's like, I am arresting you for the murder. He's like, no. It's like, oh, sorry. It's like, all right, I see where this is going, and this is very fun.
She's a real film buff. I'm not. Encyclopedic knowledge. I never said that.
No, I was like, this woman is a calmer version of Cody. This woman is a calmer, much more awkward version of Cody. Right? Just between, like, the talking about movies and the extreme observation.
Yeah, when a whodunit happens, I will make some wild-ass predictions. Case in point, I was willing to believe it was Rockwell for a minute there.
Yeah. It was one of those things where, like I said, it didn't completely, like, get me, because I had a hard time seeing how he would have done it. But it was also a thing of, like, given what was presented, it's a thing of, like, but it does make sense. I did actually kind of have a little bit of an issue when it turns out that she was wrong, and that she didn't, and that they got pissed off at her. It's like, to be fair, man, like, just look at all the stuff presented in front of her. Like, can you blame her? Especially since she's, like, trying to figure out a murder investigation.
I feel like, on the flip side, you can't be going through every single murder investigation wondering, what if my partner did it?
Yeah, that's completely fair. That's completely true.
Because then you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah, and then I think the bit that unless there was something else you had to say about anything before, like, the twist of the movie.
Nah.
Okay.
I mean, we're not really going in order. This is just kind of stray observations that spoil the movie.
That's fair. No, I mean, I do kind of want to talk about the twist, because it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, because it turns out it's actually the guy who, like, runs the bar and brings drinks to people.
The usher.
The usher. And his motive for it is that he wants to play in the movie stop because it actually goes over what happened to him and his brother. That was kind of one of those things where the movie was very correct in that it's like, yeah, it's the person you least expected. But as he's, like, going over it, especially talking about, like, how everyone, like, treats the story, that was kind of a bit where it's like, I have zero agreement with your methods. I definitely think you've, like, forget overboard, you've gone over the fucking wall, but I can see where you're coming from, and I can empathize at least a little bit, because I can imagine how painful it is to have something, like, so traumatic that, like, shook you for the rest of your life be just a piece of entertainment for a bunch of other people and no one, like, giving a shit about it.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the bit where it's like, yeah, I can at least empathize with why he decided to go this way. Of course, it was after that when I realized, like, the movie had telegraphed that. I was like, okay, that part kind of sucks a little bit, but hey.
It's also funny because you run into the thing where you can tell he didn't do it by the point when he's knocked out, or you can tell Rockwell didn't do it by the point where he's knocked out and has that dream. Yeah. Because if he did it, there would have been a hint about it, or there would have been a mention of it in his subconscious, and there isn't one. Yeah,
I mean, it is a thing of, like, when he goes to, like, the bar and sees, I forget his name, but sees, like, the murder victim. Copernic is like, whose murder you're investigating? He's like, yours? And it's like, okay, so he didn't do it. It was like a thing of, like, okay, I'm curious to see, like, what else they do with this. It was like, yeah, there's no way he could have done it if that's his style. But they build up to such a thing of having found his wife, only for it not to be the case, that it's like, this is a really weird execution for a twist that either didn't need to exist or should have just been the thing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Because that was the only bit I could pick up from the twist, was that I had empathy for it. Otherwise, it's, like, nothing else going on there. Or at least kind of the whole thing of, like, the movie not rocking the boat in that regard.
Right. I feel like I might have more of an opinion of this movie if I was more familiar with Agatha Christie's work, because I've really only seen the original Murder on the Orient Express film, and that's it.
I still need to watch that movie. I need to watch both of the movies.
Wait, I thought we saw it for movie night at one point.
If we did, it's been a while, because I don't remember any of it.
It wasn't that long ago. It was after Nick started adding stuff to the list.
Maybe.
Anyways.
And also the ending was weird.
Yeah, I don't know what, like, I don't know if that's supposed to mean this, because I don't know anything about the mousetrap, and I don't know if that means that this movie was like a setup of the mousetrap or something, and that's why it ends with the same, "You are now an accomplice to the murder, please do not speak anything of what has happened."
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be, this is somehow related to the twist in the mousetrap.
Yeah.
But what a weird circular reference, if so.
Yeah, that was a weird, because the movie does this whole thing by breaking the fourth wall with both lead actors talking to the audience.
Only at the end, though.
Only at the very end. And that was actually something that broke my suspension of disbelief. Because that was the bit where it's like, I don't understand what's going on at this point.
Like, is it a movie within a movie?
Yeah. Well, I've heard of like films doing things, or like films or shows doing things where like there's a show within a show or movie within a movie, and if you pay attention to it, you see the whole thing play out. But I don't think we ever saw the entire play from start to finish during the course of the movie.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. Like,
is this supposed to be what Kopernik would have done with the script, and then somebody picked it up and finished it for him, and this is the end result or something?
Maybe. I think you mentioned it at one point, but at a certain point it was kind of the deal of like, watch this be the like finished film that someone else is taking control over.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, in any case, good time, even if it isn't the most ambitious of mystery murders.
Yeah. I would say it's a solid 7 out of 10 movie. And it's worth seeing for the two leads alone.
Yeah, I'll agree with both of those statements. So next week, our options are very limited.
Yes,
it's either Don't Worry Darling or it's Avatar re-release, and I would just as soon poke my eyes out with a sharp stick as indulge in Disney removing Avatar from Disney Plus to encourage people to go see it in theaters. I will continue to not watch Avatar whenever I damn well please. Thank you.
I mean, I haven't seen the Avatar movie ever.
Me neither. I have it on disc even, and I still haven't seen it. And I'll continue to not see it for as long as I want.
Okay, your collection habits confuse me. And I work with somebody who collects so much stuff that he could buy a pretty decent luxury car.
Yeah, well... Yeah. You might have been expecting a witty comeback. There is none. Not a one to be found. So next week is Don't Worry Darling.
And I think, yeah, I'm going to say next week is probably going to be Don't Worry Darling.
I'm still excited. I don't care what anybody says.
I'm curious about this movie. I don't think... I have a hard time seeing myself enjoying it, but I am very curious about it.
Oh, I think it's going to be an anxiety fest and a half, but I'm still looking forward to it.
Fair enough.
Same way I was looking forward to Barbarian.
Yeah, fair.
And hoo boy, what a time that was.
Oh, yes.
Anyways, thanks for listening, everybody. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Spotify or RSS. Soon enough, there should be some socials popping up. And when that happens, make sure to follow us on them too.
Yes, indeedy.
But in the meantime, this has been Under the Bridge with Cody, aka the Scarlet Troll.
And with Greg, aka Greg.
And thank you again.
Goodbye,
Bye!
everybody. Bye!